Lovely. Thank you very much. A nice bit of applause. They don't need to, but they do anyway, which is lovely. Anyway, it's the Chelsea Football Fancast, and I am your uncle, Stamford Chidge. And to my left is my naughty niece, Sophie Rose, and a lot of smattering of children to my right. Who are Charlie Skillen. Well,
thanks, Uncle Chidge.
He's hardly a child, is he? But he's certainly been in enough children's programmes. Be careful what you say there. Jonathan Kidd and the lovely moving very quickly on. Dan Silver. We're getting close to the knuckle here. This is what happens when I drink far too much Guinness the day before a show. God, I feel rough.
You're looking avuncular, though. It works.
It's because I'm a pro, mate.
Yeah.
I was saying to Charlie earlier on, actually, it's much easier to do a show when you're absolutely trolleyed, you know. You
have to concentrate an enormous
and I have done shows absolutely smashed. One springs to mind last season with Rick Glanville, actually. And I've been in the pub since about 1 o'clock and did the show at 7.
What was that radio interview you did, though, where not a word was understood?
Oh, that was...
LBC,
yeah, that was quite funny, yeah. So, well, that didn't work so well that time. Although they did phone... They've had me back since,
They had you back when you were watching in the stand with me. You had to go into a cupboard,
That's
didn't you?
right, yeah. But it's much harder to do a show when you're hungover because you kind of feel rather poor or poo.
Yes, that was me yesterday.
Was that you yesterday?
The day before. That's why I said I didn't know where I was.
You're always caning it, aren't you, Safe?
Well, no, I woke up and
Is that what it's like to be young?
Young.
I've forgotten.
Well, going down the local pub and ended up in a casino. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though. Was it a decent casino?
Yeah, I won.
No way.
I was loving it. 20
What'd
quid,
you play?
100 quid.
What'd you play?
Roulette. I'm a roulette girl.
You're really... Have you got a system?
I was on a good table, mate.
Tips?
Now, I was just feeling... You know when you just feel it in your heart that you're going to win? I just felt it. I went down and then I just brought myself back up because I'm just
So have
genius.
you got a system, then?
Well, no, but I bet black or red. Yeah. Black's my colour, but I know when to bet which one.
You don't have a specific number or something?
Oh, 11 and 14.
OK. No,
However, I will say to you, you just need to feel it. You need to feel it.
Yeah.
And the winning bit was when I put it second half and then on any of the 6 numbers, don't know what you call it. Well, triple my money.
I'm a blackjack fiend myself.
I need to learn that, but I've seen Dan lose on I've seen him lose on a lot of Euroways and then have to bet a lot of money to win double, which he does. Fair enough to Dan. Gotta love him. Okay. But
should we talk about some football?
Let's.
Do you want to? Why not? OK. As promised earlier on, squad rotation in the 21st century. This, of course, is drawing attention to the old young ones gag for those of a certain vintage. You know, the answer being Toxteth O'Grady. And actually, it was crop rotation in the 14th century. But I thought I'd, being a bit clever. But the fact of the matter is that everybody's been going on about it, as we know, for the last few weeks, particularly because we pretty much played the same team for all of the Christmas fixtures, and they did look a bit tired against Spurs. So, did we lose because of the lack of rotation against Spurs, Charlie, or what? Well, this is where we kind of get... Sorry, folks, this is where we kind of talk about the Spurs game.
I don't think it helped in the slightest. I mean, as I said earlier, I think Matic had his poorest game in a while. As Jonathan pointed out, Tottenham actually did very well against Matic. They put Ericsson on him and kind of dragged him out of the centre.
Right.
I thought they did a number on us tactically.
Yeah, they did.
They did.
Chelsea were terrible.
Football safe.
It was one of the worst experiences at a game I've had in years.
Yeah,
it was awful.
I can believe that.
I felt that Ivanovic and Cahill were sussed as early as the Palace game in the season, early in the season, which Warnock did just by booting the ball into the corner. I mentioned this before in the programme, and running after it and using speed that way. And I think other managers have noticed that was a weakness in the side, and they've just banged on the door often enough.
Yeah, I would have liked to see.
So okay, well, make your point then.
I'll make my point that. Not to annoy Jonathan.
Being
there first
it's only
hand.
Safe. And poo-housery.
Banter.
I think being there or watching on telly is
no.
Really
when I was there, either or, I was there, and I have to say, when I heard the team, I was excited. I thought it was a great team to put out. But then obviously when you're watching it, whether it's on TV or live, or whatever, I'm just saying it was worse being there.
Of course.
Yeah. You could see some players were tired. I don't think the right substitutions were made, and I don't think that Tottenham had a great game at all. I think they still let in 3 goals against a very, very poor side. And to be honest, if they're trying to get into the top 4, whatever they're trying to achieve, They were letting in 3 goals against a team that were against Chelsea, and I'm not saying that we weren't poor, because we were poor. Isn't good enough. I don't know why they're raving about it and making DVDs, because that's not good.
Well, that's what they always do. If they'd have won one spawny goal which went off Branner's backside, they'd still be making a DVD about it.
But no, I think Remy should have come on.
Contradicting what I've said, which is that I think they took advantage of the fact that area has been weak recently.
All right, then.
But we've been saying the same thing with time. But I think they very cleverly. They played most of the attacks down the left-hand side, particularly with Kane, who's a decent player. He's a very speedy player, you know.
It's very fine margins, because Aspie has a shot saved by the keeper, nobody's popping up for the rebound, it's 4-3, then we would have got a point, arguably. It was not a thrashing. Yes, it was a bad performance, but we weren't thrashed. It wasn't like a 5-3 embarrassment.
I would like to see them, you know, it's easy to say this, seeing Matic play so uncharacteristically badly. I think Ramirez did quite well when he came on. I thought he kind of livened it up a bit.
Yeah, he did do well.
So it would be nice to see him a bit more second half of the season. In fact, Mourinho said Ramirez will be my secret weapon for the rest of the season.
Although one says that,
the Brazilians.
I also think if
I'm not so sure about
if you were gonna make a list of games that Mikel should play, I think Tottenham away would be right.
The thing about Ramirez,
I agree.
I get his energy and his willingness to do the job that Mourinho wants to do. I mean, I've been saying this for years. I'm still not sure what his best position in the team is, and I think that's part of the problem. The other thing about Ramirez is he's got the poorest touch of a Brazilian that I have ever seen. Well, just hang on a minute, young lady. He's got the poorest touch of a Brazilian that I've ever seen. And he's a yellow card waiting to happen because he can't tackle properly. He mistimes them. He's almost Paul Scholes-esque in his bad timing of tackles. So he's a real liability in the fact that he gets yellow cards, and he's got a terrible touch. So I love him too. I will never forget the goal he scored against Barcelona away. But I mean, I kind of want a little bit more from a player than I get from Ramirez, to be fair. And what's happened, by the way, Sophie, to the thing you probably like, which is the first season he was with us, we saw wonderful box-to-box running, and he scored some lovely goals. And, I don't see enough of that.
No. He played a different system. I mean,
he's playing against France very much so. He's playing differently from Mourinho.
I mean, Oscar was... Sorry, Soph. Oscar was terribly poor as well,
wouldn't he?
Against Tottenham.
And why did he bring Salah on? What was that?
I don't know. He probably thought I'll do something different in the midfield, but I think if it had been a game against, I don't know, Burnley or whatever, I wouldn't have frowned upon it too much. But when you're losing a game like that, you need somebody who's going to come on, who's going to have confidence. And I don't think he played particularly poorly.
And ability.
I don't think he played poorly. But when you need somebody who's going to come on and change the game, there were certain things you could tell in his face, because obviously I was right there. He didn't have any confidence, and there was a touch in the box that was quite poor. And I just think he made a couple of wrong substitutions there. But
he's out. I mean, basically Salah's out of his depth, and I think it's been obvious since we bought him in his first play. He is absolutely out of his depth, and he plays like a player. He plays like a player who is out of his depth.
Isn't he on his way out? Though, I heard.
I think
he is.
Well, I mean, actually, there's this kind of nice little segue into the transfer window type stuff, I think, because I've done a biggie for International Business Times on what may or may not happen, which I have to be honest, I hate writing about transfer windows because I am not interested.
And it's all speculative anyway, isn't it?
It's all speculative, an absolute poo.
Because there was that story that we've got Sami Khedira.
Because I was asked to write about transfer windows, Ross, and I'm a good boy. If I'm told to do it, I do it. You should bear that in mind.
That fake story about us having Sami Khedira on a
Well, I just hate it. It's all nonsense.
Who made that up?
I had a wonderful argument with Jason Burt on Twitter, actually, which didn't get obnoxious in any way, shape or form. It was a reasonable argument with him about he couldn't believe that I genuinely didn't give a damn about transfers in the transfer window.
I don't like the transfer window. I don't like it.
Anyway,
the
point being that in all of this, I think the tenor of the article was that if you're going to buy people, then you have to buy, I think, better than what you already have. Otherwise, what's the point? It just becomes a short-term fix, And I just don't see... I think we're better than that. I think we have a game plan now. But then, OK, if you look at it another way, then look at the weaknesses. And I think, without doubt, there are weaknesses there. But the only obvious one, I think, is Salah. I think he just doesn't fit.
Yeah, he's not a Chelsea level player. He hasn't settled at all. I mean, you got to remember too. I mean, he is 22. He's a young lad. He will be going on loan, I believe.
Where do you think he's going to go?
Into Milan. 18
Yeah,
months.
that's the story that was going around.
He needs to play. He needs to play to get better.
Well, he can play for Inter Milan then.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. But I don't, because obviously Jose, and rightly so, is trying to win trophies and put the team together as quickly as possible. We don't have time.
So annoying.
I think.
I'm not being sarcastic. That's a good thing.
I know.
Chidge was.
I think what you say about buying better.
Feisty tonight, young lady. Who's annoyed you then? Who's wound you up?
You.
No, well,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
the point. 7 o'clock, that is the mission, isn't it? But somebody's annoyed you before that, or have they? Is it just me?
I'm in a really happy mood
It's just
today.
me? You're in a happy mood?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, lovely. Glad to hear it.
I think what you say about buying better than you have is very much true of the summer. But in January, you can buy sort of supplementary players, and Jose has actually done that
Torres?
before. Well, yeah, but I mean, Mourinho did that in his first spell. I mean,
Matic is the classic example. What a fantastic buy that was. That was in January, wasn't it?
But I mean, the first spell I'm talking about, and these aren't players that everyone's going to remember particularly fondly. Players like Manish and Jarosic.
Giraffe.
He's kind of.
He bought those to plug holes.
He bought those to plug holes.
a very big hole with Jarosic.
He might do something.
He worked out that he needed a taller player to head the ball away from corners.
He might do something similar to that, to plug a hole, supplementary.
It'll be
player.
interesting. I mean, I kind of, my little wish list, because I hated having to do it, but forced to do it, I had a real think, and I kind of went along the lines of, okay, in an ideal world, all things being equal, and getting people in who are better than what we've got, but also providing cover. Because I think there's a really good theory there that says if you've got a 24-man squad, it would be actually rather good to have 24 players who are either all of equal ability or who can offer something slightly different. Yeah. So you have options and variety. Yeah. And on that basis, and given the weaknesses, we might have a bit of a weakness in defence. I think we would agree with that. Yeah. I think that we don't have effective cover, arguably, for Matic. I don't think Mikel is a Matic. We know this. I also think that we don't have a really, we were moaning a little bit about Willian earlier, saying wouldn't it be nice to have a winger who can complement Hazard? So actually have another winger who can dribble. Yeah. It's all hypothesis. Yeah. And of course, I don't really think we have a world-class striker to back up Costa, world class, right? So on the basis that you have 24 players who are about equal,
but could you get a world class striker who would then
you
not
won't,
be playing?
Jonathan, but this is why I'm saying this is hypothetical and it's a wish list. But my list, defensively, perfect scenario: Varane, because I think he's superb. Varane plays for Real Madrid, but he's not coming anywhere because his contract's just been extended to 2020, and the
buyout clause will be 80 million.
They bought him for 10 million from Lens, but he won't be that now. They love him there.
The interesting thing about him is he's not actually in the side at the minute because Pepe and Ramos.
But he got Pepe out of the side, or PP as I like to call him. They got him out of the side last
season. Yeah. Pepe's been very good this year.
And of course, who introduced him to the team?
Jose.
Mourinho, exactly. That's the other thing I thought about. I thought, Mourinho likes to buy players. He knows he can do it both in the UK and in Europe. Yeah. He likes tried and trusted players he can depend on, and Varane would be that one. The other alternative for that, I thought, well, okay, if you're looking at defenders, I mean, and the fact that we've got a really good relationship with Atletico Madrid, and they're usually in a selling mood. And Miranda is another option because since the debacle in Brazil with their defence, he's been an absolute fixture in that team with Dunga as the manager. So he's not bad. And Godin's another option there, I thought.
Godin's a very good player.
In terms of wingers, a Madrid one, maybe Chiran. He could do a job. But I mean, are they better than what we've got, Charlie? That's I don't think
available. If you want a replacement for Schürrle, then you're going to have to give me a name of someone.
I'm going to give you two.
Go on then.
Well, certainly one. One of them was Turan, but the other one, who I don't think is any better, but a Cuadrado, who plays for Fiorentina and played for Colombia in the World Cup and actually played pretty well. And it's only because James Rodriguez was so good that I think he got slightly overlooked. But in Serie A, he's highly, highly rated. He's played very, very well, and what he does is he does exactly what I'm talking about. He attacks the defence, he dribbles, he takes a man on, he beats him, and he scores goals and lays them on. So,
to be honest, I think,
and he's not cup tight because they played in the Europa League, and I think you could probably get him for quite a reasonable fee.
Well, yeah, that's good. Well, I'm with you then. I'm with you on that.
Thank you, Sophie.
But I would like if Schürrle's role in the team is quite crucial, to be honest, and we need to have somebody extra in case of an injury or in case somebody's tired or whatever.
Royce.
Yeah,
well, I think that was my final choice. Dan's obviously read the script. He's cheating. But is he a winger or is he an attacker, Dan? Because I have him down as a striker, mate.
He can play wide.
Yeah, especially when he does play wide. You want somebody with
Remy,
the wizardry and trickery of a Robin. That's what you really like. Yeah.
When the red Robin goes bobbing along.
No, not that one. No, not that one.
You mean the one that doesn't fall over as much?
And he used to fall over an enormous amount. That's what you didn't like. But
he's such a diver, isn't he?
Subsequently,
hell of a player, though.
He's revealed himself as one of the best players in the world.
Here's a theory, Jonathan. Actually, I'm really glad you mentioned Robin because I kind of omitted him because otherwise my list would have been as long as.
No, but they wouldn't be buying Robin.
Well, no. Here's the thing. He's what 30, 31. Yeah. He's had a hell of a career at Chelsea, Real Madrid, and now Bayern Munich. It was Mourinho who brought him to Stamford Bridge. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
Who knows?
He's really settled.
It was 1-0. It was actually Ranieri who
signed him in January with Czech.
To Chelsea.
Yeah, no, but he was one of the
club signing. I think
he was. Yes, it was the club signing completely. All those signings had nothing to do with
he was on the way out. Really.
Bugbear of mine when people say that.
Yeah, that's right. That's why they defend. Exactly. That's why they defend Ranieri. They always say, "What about he bought all these players?" No.
Okay, all right. I was a slip of the tongue, guys. I tell you, blimey, I've got no love for Ranieri.
No, I was talking about.
Why is it tonight? They're taking their lead from you. I blame you for this revolt.
No, I apologise.
I think your hangover's breeding paranoia.
Exactly, he's a bit frail, isn't he? So
it's clearly the drugs.
Also, I think we've detected a vulnerability, and we're getting there like sharks. We're straight in there.
Be careful, because that's when I'm most likely to strike.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll agree with that. Well, I'm an iron king.
You know that old adage which I used to hate, amongst the many other things I hate about Liverpool, but the things I used to hate a lot in the 70s and the 80s when the commentary was. An opposition team would score against Liverpool and they would always say, oh, that's the worst thing to do against Liverpool. You can't score against Liverpool because they always go and score immediately after. I mean, annoyingly, they quite often did. But I just hated the presumption of it. They were so blooming good that they would just automatically, don't let me go on
But they were better than anybody else.
They were. Very look, very, very quickly, because we've already lost one person, and that is the lovely Mark Schwarzer, who I really did like a lot. And apparently so did the club.
And we've recalled Blackman.
Big Blacks is back, but I think the most significant thing of this is, of course, it means that Petr Cech is going to be staying this season.
Yeah. But I thought Schwarzer, I don't know how to say.
Schwarzer.
Potato. Anyway, I thought he was great for Chelsea.
You say Schwarzer, I say Schwarzer. Yeah. I say tomato, you say tomato. Let's call the whole thing off. What?
Tomato, I say.
You do.
There you go.
Not half.
Tomato.
Are you related to Tony Pulis?
No, God, but I was wondering. I didn't even do an interview the other day.
He says half and chance.
Yeah, he sounds like me, doesn't he? He's from my neck of the woods.
Is he your dad?
No, he's just from where I am from.
Where are you from then?
Well, around Devon area.
You're from Devon. Lovely.
I now live in. Well, I'm not going to tell you exactly where I live, but
no, don't say that.
London.
You might have weird people watching like me.
No, look, I think he was great for us.
Who?
Surely stalk you.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he did a really good job when he came on, didn't he?
And I think he's going to be really, really, really good for Leicester. So.
And Leicester.
Yeah, but he's only understudy at Leicester. He's not.
Is he back up?
No, they've got Schmeichel.
Schmeichel's injured.
Anyway, bringing it right back.
Going to be playing. Oh, I'm sorry.
Bringing it back round to Cech. This is good news that Cech we know will be here to the end of the season. Yeah. Just very, very quickly, just got about 30 seconds. Does anybody think he's going to be here longer than the end of the season?
Well, didn't Dan say that he was injured?
That's true. Yeah. And he's got the elbow jobby. You think he might stay?
I think he's a great. Oh God, he played amazingly yesterday.
So did I. I thought so.
I mean, look, there's no excuse for Courtois' tiredness on New Year's Day at all, and he didn't have a good game. So I thought that was a great.
He was awful on New Year's Day, Courtois.
I agree. I was talking to Dan.
Yeah.
Dan and Cundy were talking about this in the pub last night. I wondered how many of those goals Cech would. Dan wondered how many of those goals Cech would let in. And we said none, really.
Jason was like one or two, maybe, that Cech might have saved.
Exactly. I thought also yesterday Cech had a really good game. The couple of, that save with his foot.
Because it came off Luis.
Yeah, and that save he tipped over the bar. I just thought. I haven't seen Courtois do many of those. I've seen Courtois catch the ball a lot, which is what he does because he's about 7'20". But I haven't seen him do proper saves much, like Cech was doing yesterday.
He hasn't been that much tested. He hasn't really had a game. There's the one-on-one at Leicester. David Nugent was a good save when he was one-on-one before he went up 1-0 up. But apart from that, he hasn't really been tested.
I don't think there's an awful lot to choose between them, really.
Nah, we're lucky. The bottom line is
10 years younger than the other one.
We're lucky to have probably, arguably, two of the best goalkeepers in the world. Long may that continue.
Absolutely.
We have to go for a break. But when we come back afterwards, we will be giving you some frank answers to the Lampard debate. Have it. You want some?
You've got no fans.
We need to be a little girly about this. Jesus. See
Go
you
on,
soon.
roll.